each one of you to get registered on TechSoup. First of all, to get the current bouquet of services and keep on getting information on what new services, hardware, software, etc. are being added. So when an NGO joins with TechSoup, it typically saves $17,000 worth of software and hardware, which is a huge amount. And saving is on one side, but enablement is the other side. Like that is what we keep on trying. Building hardware is a one-time job, but using that hardware and software to its maximum is very important, especially for those guys who are short of funds and need the best out of it. And then we on TechSoup website we keep on conducting webinars. We have regular blogs and how-to articles. Thank you so much. That is all about TechSoup. If you have any queries, you can shoot your queries to jaideepkhanduja@gmail.com. JAIDEEPKHANDUJA@gmail.com. And if you need my phone number, it is 880-200-6064. I repeat, 880-200-6064. So at TechSoup, we welcome everyone. We put community first. We are here to support each other. We build stronger non-profits. Technology is one of our tools. We invite participations. Everyone has something to learn and to contribute. We treat each other with kindness and respect. Thank you so much. And over to Jagdish.
Uh, Thank you, Jaideep for the wonderful introduction. I invoke the grace of Bhagwan and my Puja Gurudev to guide me in what I speak. Before we begin, I would just request if we can have cameras on for all the people. That would be nice to see each other. And I know it may not be the best of situation because when we work from home. But if you guys can open up the cameras, that would be good. That would set the energy in the session. And before I begin my talk, also I would just like to have here 30 seconds from each one. Which organization you belong to. I think there are about 12 of us, so that would take about 6 to 8 minutes before I go on to talk about what digital crowdfunding is. So we have the first person who's opened his camera. That's great, Kshitij. So if Kshitij, you can just tell about your organization. Kshitij, I can't hear you. You're on mute.
Basically, I am from Crowdera Foundation only itself.
Achha, you're from Crowdera Foundation. Okay. Remini?
Hi, good morning. I'm from Loka. I'm part of donor relations. For the past 2 years, we're trying to focus on the retail aspect of fundraising. So that's our risk.
Evidyaluka.
Loka.
Okay. And still, I can't see your face, but that's fair enough. Prajakta? Prajakta, Gaurav, Manpreet, Neha.
Yeah, you guys need to unmute yourself and speak.
No, this is the problem with digital marketing or with digital campaigns. That the attention span is not there. And if we are here in an event, it's always better to have our cameras on, and also talk and make it engaging. Because if we ourselves are not having our cameras on, then we can't expect our donors also to have the cameras on. So
You're
the
right.
potential fundraisers. So Prakash Upreti, Naresh ji, Vishnu ji, Manpreet ji, Gaurav ji, Aditya ji, if you can. Your cameras on, or if cameras are not to be on, can you just unmute yourself and just talk 30 seconds about yourself? We need some engagement, Jaideep ji, here because I'm unable to hear anyone. Please unmute yourself, Gaurav ji.
Jagdish, there is a message from Shakuntala Majumdar. She says, sorry, my camera is talking. I am Shakuntala Majumdar from Thane, SPCA. We are working for rights and welfare, street, working, and food animals.
Okay, great. Gaurav, I can see you. Nice to see you.
Uh,
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Gaurav. Gaurav, you are from which
So
organization?
I'm a student of Tata Institute of Social Science, Mumbai.
Okay, that's nice. Vishnu and others. Okay, I can see certain things in chat room. Okay, Prakash is from Nepal. Prajakta, you are from which organization?
Sir Memorial Hospital.
Okay, fair enough. So I think just got a hang of it. Vishnu is from RNA Environment Organization in Nagpur. So fair enough. So let me just share my screen and talk to you about what digital crowdfunding is all about. So let me just share my screen. So essentially, when we talk about crowdfunding, it's basically raising small amounts from multiple people. So it's to raise big amounts from people, yes, but it comes in parts. So it comes in small amounts. So people may contribute anywhere from 500 rupees to 5,000 and 10,000. And there have been various known instances of crowdfunding, including the Statue of Liberty. I'm not sure how many of you know that Statue of Liberty was raised through crowdfunding because the mayor over there said, we don't have funds to build Statue of Liberty, and the residents of that city got together and built the Statue of Liberty. And earlier known instance of crowdfunding in India was for the Vivekanand Rock Memorial. And that was funded with 1 rupee. So people gave 1 rupee for the Vivekananda Rock Memorial, and this I'm talking about way back in 1960. The typical traditional crowdfunding which we know is basically used for disasters and medical emergencies. I'm sure many of you would have received notification.
Sorry, Jagdish,
Your voice
you're gone.
voice is not
yeah, Jagdish has gone. Ah, yeah,
Okay, I don't know how it got unmuted. Okay,
yeah.
okay, let me just go back. Now you can hear me, right? Okay. Yeah. So as I said that crowdfunding has been there popular for disasters and medical, and how do we do it for other normal regular projects? And traditional crowdfunding is actually done by promoting it on social media and reaching it to the existing database, and that's a costly affair. So if you want to do your campaign on Facebook, you want to do your campaign on Google Ads, you have to really spend. And in Habitat and others, what I know is the average spend is anywhere between 25% to 40% of funds raised. In some cases, it even goes up to 50% of funds being raised. This is where peer-to-peer crowdfunding comes in. And when we talk about peer-to-peer crowdfunding, it involves involvement of volunteers, and that's why I said that I want everyone to open their cameras, because when you speak to your volunteers, they need to pay attention to what you're talking. It could also be employees, or it could be in their members, and they reach out in their personal networks. If I have to just talk about peer-to-peer crowdfunding, it's nothing. I would request everyone to just take a look at their mobile phone. Very simple. Okay, and I tell everyone that your network is your net worth. So if you want to note it down, you can note it down that your network is your net worth. So in your phone book, if you know about, and everyone today would know more than 500 people, those are the people whom you reach out to, and this is basically your volunteers who are associated with you. So, for example, in a case like Habitat for Humanity, it's the volunteers who come in, or it's the school children who take part as volunteers and they raise funds for us. For example, when I'm as a volunteer, I was working with Chinmay Mission. It is essentially the Chinmay Mission members who raise funds. Okay, and the entire approach is not just posting through Facebook. It's not very easy. People think, okay, I have to raise crowdfunding. Let me go on Facebook and post a message. Or many people do Facebook birthday fundraisers. I think Facebook birthday fundraisers, to my mind, has been the most flop thing. Okay, I don't see people raising more than 5,000 and 10,000. And I can say with guarantee that if when you do peer-to-peer crowdfunding, each of your volunteer can raise more than 1 lakh rupees. Okay, so you must be wondering, oh, how they can raise it. I will talk about that. So people give essentially for three reasons. They give to you. Okay, so each one of you, because you know the person, they trust you and they give to you. Number one, they give to a charity. So, for example, they will give to, say, a Habitat for Humanity, or they will give to a Chinmay Mission, or they will give to SPCA. I believe there is someone from SPCA. But if I start something called Jagdish Peswani Foundation, no one is going to give it to me. I mean, the people who will give will be much lesser because Jagdish Peswani Foundation is unknown. Third, they give for a cause. Now, this is something which is very important over here to understand because this is where the story comes into the play. So, for example, when we were at Habitat for Humanity, if I run a crowdfunding campaign which talks about saying that, I'm building a house, please come and support me, people will not do that. Why? Because today the top two causes which India supports is education and second is medical. Okay, health. Now, why would someone support a house? So, how do we overcome that? We build in emotions. So, we say we are building homes for the farm widows, and we do that. So, there are a lot of farmers who committed suicide. Their family don't have homes, and we build homes for the farm widows. More appealing has been that we build homes for the army martyrs. So, a lot of people who have lost their lives. Yes, they do get money. So many of you would say that here the army people wives they get the money. Yes, the wives get the money, not the parents. And many times what happens for right purpose, the wives would go to the city because they've got some funds, but the parents are left behind, and therefore we support them. And there are various criteria for the army people to get. So we have done homes for the armed forces. So what I'm trying to tell you over here is that the cause is important and the story with the cause is important. Number one. Now, three mantras for all of you to remember, and this is to overcome our limiting belief. That I believe that every person who's born in this world is a fundraiser. Everyone. Okay, number one. Whether it's a 6-year-old child or it's a 80-year-old adult. And I work with both the people. I work with a 6-year-old child also, and I work with an 85-year-old adult also. Okay. Number two, you're asking for a good cause. You're not asking for yourself. If you're going to call up someone and say, hey, I'm going to Bali and you fund me 30,000, people will not fund you, right? But you're asking for a cause. So don't hesitate in asking for it. Number three is focus on the action and not the result. What many a times what we do is we get overawed. Oh, we have to raise 10,000 rupees. How will I do it? And then suddenly, negative thoughts starts coming in your mind. Okay, and this is not the thing. Just do your action. What is your action? The volunteers are you as a person need to call up your friends and family members, and if they have to donate, they will donate. So this is very important to remember over here. The scope of peer-to-peer fundraising is with youth, corporates, volunteers, and marathons. It's a low-cost technology platform to raise funds essentially. As I said earlier, that you invest 40 rupees and then you gain 100 rupees in performance-based, which is social media. In peer-to-peer, the cost is as low as about 10%. Okay. Again, performance-based marketing, they work for medical fundraising, they work for disasters, but not really for causes. Uh, as a thing, you can also reach out to both international and domestic donations, which is essentially Crowdera. It can host unlimited campaigns, be it your students or be it your corporate employees. And you can launch your campaign very instantaneously and you can track who all your donors are over there. Now, this is very important for all of you to understand is the science of crowdfunding. Okay, this is something which we have drawn visually. I would have ideally, had a visual of a bed. So just visualize a bed. Okay, nowadays the bed comes with storage, but in the olden days the bed used to come with 4 legs. So the 4 legs of this bed called crowdfunding is technology, which say a Crowdera provides, storytelling, which you need to provide in terms of a good story, which I talked about a cause. Third is communication, which is very important. That how does your volunteer communicate to the potential donors? And fourth is donor behavior. Okay, why will a donor give? If you get any of these pillars wrong or any of the legs wrong, the bed will fall or the bed will be shaky. So this is something which all of you need to understand. And having been part of charity Habitat for Humanity and in a volunteering role with Chinmay Mission. We had Habitat for Humanity raise 15 crores through the school children, and we had Chinmay Mission overall for the Chinmay Vishwavidyapeeth project raised about 66 crores, out of which online directly the crowdfunding campaign helped raise 30 crores. And because of the online crowdfunding campaign, there were other offline donations which came in, which was worth 36 crores. 66 crores got raised in 4 months. Okay. So what you need essentially is volunteers. And how the entire thing works is your pre-campaign, which is identification of volunteers. That's essentially the key for campaign management. Number one, what is the campaign name? Third is identification of the causes, the story on the crowdfunding page, and deciding on the gifts, what you want to give the gifts to the fundraisers and the donors. And how, what do? You approach the schools. So if you know any good schools which are there, the IB schools, the ICSE schools, so like in Thana, SPCA is there. So if you approach, say for example, Singhania school over there, other Hiranandani Foundation school, the premium schools, their children can raise funds for you. Past volunteers and donors. So connect with your donors. You know, your donors, high giving donors who have given say about 25,000. You can tell them, sir, this time I don't want your money. And anyone who's listening, please, if you can make notes, please make notes. And if you want to underline it, double underline it. Okay, is call up your donor, tell him I don't want your money. He'll be pleasantly surprised. First, obviously, you thank him and everything. He'll say, I'm getting a call from this charity and they're telling me don't donate. Wow, what is this charity? Tell me, sir, I want your time. So when you ask your donors that I want your time and they become volunteers, so then they will ask, because see, people will give money. It's very easy to write a check and give, but it's very difficult to give time. So what I want time is I need 30 minutes from you. Okay. Now they'll say, I don't have time. So my question is, and whenever I do my trainings, I say that if I have to get your meeting done with your favorite celebrity, and if tomorrow Mr. Narendra Modi calls you, will you not go? If tomorrow Joe Biden calls you, will you not go? If tomorrow Shah Rukh Khan calls you, will you not go? You will go, right? You will make time. So therefore, it's just a myth that we don't have time. Number one. Number two, across any religion, be it, and I don't want to get into the religion specific, but I'm just saying that be it a Hindu, be it a Christian, be it a Muslim, be it anything, in all the scriptures it is written that you need to give a percentage of your income, okay, as charity. Here we are saying don't give a percentage of your income as charity, but give a percentage of your time. 30 minutes in a day, and in a day we have got 1440 hours. So sorry, 1440 minutes. And we are asking only 2% of that. Right? So just give me 2% of your time for the next 1 month. That's what I need. And that's how you convert a high potential donor into a volunteer. And then all of you can call these volunteers on a common platform, again with videos on, as I said. Okay, and that's the time you engage with them, and therefore then you get them to register on say platforms like Crowdera, and they can start fundraising for you. Corporates, if you know corporates, the corporates through their managerial employees can raise funds. Events, then marathons. So in India, there are 4 marathons: Tata Mumbai Marathon, you have the Airtel Delhi Half Marathon, the TCS Marathon, and the Calcutta Marathon, which offers this P2P crowdfunding over there. So this is how the pre-campaign preparation happens. Then there is a training which will be done, say, by the likes of Crowdera, which will involve an orientation session to all the volunteers, saying this is what crowdfunding is. Then they will register. Then we do the training of the crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is an art. It's a science. It is to be learned. It is not something which you feel okay. Let me just post it on social media. The first thing many people do after they take part in crowdfunding, they go and post on social media. Nothing happens, and then people say peer-to-peer crowdfunding काम नहीं करता. Okay. Then, and these are technical things which we will talk about at a later stage. And what happens is the volunteers need to be trained that you need to make out your contacts at least more than 5 times over 4 weeks. So therefore the campaign is for 4 weeks. So if you think, okay, I've called up a friend and he's going to donate, he will not. You need to send in reminders. And 80% of the closures are made from the 5th reminder. Therefore, from the first week till the last week, there is a set of template messages which will be created by Crowdera, which your volunteers can send out. Now, whom do you reach out to? and this is a very important slide. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this also. Is and do not change the sequence. So first is you reach out to your family members, then you reach out to your school and college classmates, then you reach to your colleagues, then you reach out to your schools and college classmates, you reach out to your network, and then you reach out to your hobby groups and communities, which is there. In simple terms, if I ask, and if someone can unmute over here, if I can ask, how many people do you think you can reach out to? If you yourself are doing this campaign, how many people do you think you can reach out to? Maybe you can type in the chat room also. Neha ji, Smriti ji, Vishnu ji. Just type in the chat room that how many people you think you can reach out to. Remini said I can reach out to 100. Okay. Manpreet said 50. Kshitij said 200. Prakash said 20. Sumati Salunke said 40 to 50. Okay, now I'll just change a question to Remini, to Prakash, to Sumati ji, to Gaurav ji. आपके घर में शादी है, आपके घर में बड़ा फैमिली फंक्शन है, how many people will you reach out to? There is a big marriage, and I'm talking about post-COVID time. Yes, COVID restriction is there, you cannot get. So Prakash Upreti says 250. Great. So from 20 it goes to 250. Gaurav ji, 400. Okay. Sumati ji, who had given an answer earlier, Remini said 350. Sumati ji said 300. So see, do you get the answer here? That if for a wedding I will invite so many people, then when I'm doing a crowdfunding exercise, why should I not reach to so many people? And the critical, and if you want, underline it, double line it, triple underline it, is that of your success is making the list. And this is something which becomes very important in a crowdfunding exercise, is making the list and reaching out to them. And this is important as far as the volunteers are concerned. Then there is a complete active campaign management, which is there, which happens for 15 to 30 days. There is a creation of the WhatsApp group of the volunteers and the fundraisers. You get a so again, how does a successful peer-to-peer crowdfunding works? I'm not very sure if your organization would have registered earlier some fundraisers, but there are so many people who register their fundraisers on Tata Mumbai Marathon and फिर बोलते हैं जगदीश कुछ नहीं होता है, 5,000 रुपया लिया गया, 10,000 लिया गया, ठीक है. अब क्या होता है, there are two things. If I come and give you food to cook, right, you'll have to cook your food and eat. You'll think twice. And today सब कुछ instant हो गया है. Swiggy is there common, right? So what Swiggy is to food industry or to your kitchen, that is what Crowdera is to your fundraising campaign. So we cook everything. Crowdera will cook everything and give it to your fundraisers on a platter. आज के तारीख में fundraisers को they need everything on a platter. What it means is that what message they need to be sending out with their individual link will be given to your fundraisers. What speech they need to talk about, it will be given. So the only thing your fundraisers need to do is to give time, and that is what 30 minutes which is needed to call their contacts. Apart from that, it's congratulating the achievers on achieving their targets, daily motivational messages which goes out. There are catch-up calls, equipping the fundraiser with thank you image, changing the profiles, giving quotes to be used in stories. So it's a complete science. This campaign management which is there, it's a big science. This itself will need for me 2 to 3 hours to talk to you in details, but we don't obviously, we don't have that time. But what I'm trying to tell you over here, it's a science which is there. And this is how the sample message goes out, saying, I'm raising my funds, would you want to support me? And this message goes on WhatsApp. And I'll just tell you why, again, it's a science which, people miss out. Some people feel, ठीक है, हम लोग ने तो WhatsApp message भेज दिया, मैंने WhatsApp group में डाल दिया, it will do work. No, it will not. Okay, so the first thing which you learned in the science is that if you post on social media, पैसा आएगा, पैसा नहीं आएगा. मैं सेलिब्रिटी को लेके आऊंगा, कोई मेरा सेलिब्रिटी मेरे लिए ट्वीट करेगा, पैसा आएगा, नहीं आएगा. ठीक है, मैं ये ग्रुप में मैसेज डाल दूंगा, पैसा आएगा, नहीं आएगा. What you have to do is in 30 minutes, person has to call. And it's not a very correct example, but for want of better example, if someone is going to propose to his girlfriend, he's not going to propose to his girlfriend over a WhatsApp. He's going to call her or he's going to meet her, right? So here you need to call that particular person, and once you call that particular person, then you send out the WhatsApp message. So this is what Crowdera does with the Kendriya Senate Board and various other people. They've raised funds. Habitat for Humanity, which is my organization, as you see, a small girl, a classic instance, a small girl having a goal of 10,000, and she has raised 1 lakh rupees. Now, many of you may think that, I should, once my goal is crossed, should I not increase my goal? No, because again, there is a science of crowdfunding which is involved in this. And what is the science of crowdfunding? The science of crowdfunding is that people like a hit movie, right? अगर आपको फ्राइडे को आप मूवी पे जाते हो and you see that the movie is a flop movie, you're not going to go for that movie. So similarly, if the goal is 10,000 and she's already raised 1 lakh, people say, wow, that's a great campaign, let me support this campaign. So that's all from my side in brief, talking to about what peer-to-peer and digital crowdfunding is all about. So if you have any questions, I could cover it in a brief manner. So if there are any questions, I would love to take questions. Any questions?
Just one, sir. Thank you so much. This is very helpful. This is Ramoni here from Evidya Loka. I
Yeah.
just wanted to understand. So the problem we get stuck in is that we know what we want to do, but I think bandwidth is a constraint. So typically, what is even just to start the basic amount of what you mentioned, what would be a good team size? Because you would need someone for acquisition, retention, etc.
Okay, so if I'm just seeing a website right now in eVidya Loka Ramani, so how many donors you would have so far?
So individual donors would be more than say 1,500 plus.
Okay, and out of those 1,500, how many of them would have say contributed more than 25,000 rupees in a year?
At least I would say 20%.
So 300 donors, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So what you need to do, Ramani, ideally is that the potential of a volunteer to raise again, like for example, with Habitat for Humanity, the potential of a volunteer to raise is about 25,000. To a spiritual organization like Chinmay Mission, it's 2 lakhs. But if you can motivate your volunteers, you can expect around 50,000. And I would say if you can call up all these 300, and maybe you can connect with Aditi after this. You can call up each of your 300 donors who have done and tell them that I don't want your money, like I said earlier, right? I want your time. Definitely, it is not the great time to speak to them right now. I mean, you can speak to them because March everyone will be busy. Most of the donors, would be busy with their jobs and everything, and March is always a bad month to do. But you can always ask them saying that, sir, in April, we are planning something like this. We would like to have a time, and maybe over 4 to 5 sessions, you can call all these donors, because if you think you will do one session and you will get all your donors to come in, they will not. So you'll have to keep multiple sessions and call your donors where Aditi can take the initial orientation session with you. So I am assuming out of your 300 donors you call, maybe about 100 or 150 of them will turn up. And from 100 to 150 donors, maybe about 75 to 80 volunteers will sign. And possibly you can raise easily 40 to 50 lakhs if that's your database. As far as any resources and bandwidth which is there, which is the challenge with anything, you don't need to do anything. Crowdera, I just said, when you call Swiggy, you don't do anything. You just tell Swiggy that you order for it. So you can get in touch with Aditi, and Aditi will do the Swigging for you. She will deliver everything to you at your home doorstep.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Anybody else, please unmute yourself and you can shoot your question, suggestion, query, anything.
Sumati ji, where that person, Shakuntala ji, she's still there?
I think yes, she's there.
Shakuntala ji, you are from Thane. I mean, you need anything, any assistance, I am there. Aditi is there. Any questions anyone has? This campaign, trust me, is not difficult. What is only needed from the charity is to call up the donor database, tell them we don't wanted donations, this time we wanted time, please give us time. And rest, again, I would like to say Aditi will Swiggy it for you. Or I would say Swiggy bracket Crowdera for you.
Jagdish, I have a query.
Yes,
How do you bring that personalization in crowdfunding, digital crowdfunding, especially?
it is a personalized crowdfunding because your teams are formed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just showcase to you just an example. Just give me a minute.
Hmm.
So, in fact, as I said, there are two kind of crowdfunding. One is a normal crowdfunding,
Correct.
wherein if there is a disaster which happens, you set up a page saying there is a disaster which is there. So, for example, if there is a flood in Thane,
Hmm.
and then you say that the animals are impacted, and you support SPCA,
Hmm.
but that's a general thing, okay, which you're sending to all. But
Hmm.
what happens in case of a peer-to-peer crowdfunding? You are actually making teams, and your donors are becoming volunteers, and their individual pages are getting opened. So let me just show the page over here. Just give me a second. Yeah, I'm just opening that. Yeah, let me share the screen. So if you see here, this is Habitat for Humanity is working with OIS school.
Hmm.
So there is a group of team, right? So there are more than about what, 12 students who are there. Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. And there are three students who have already they have already gone past their goals of 10,000, 10,000, 10,000.
Yeah.
Ashrita is 10, 1,06,000. Shritan is 56,000. Shlok is 54,000. So when you go over there to Ashrita's page, it's your own customized page because it's a personalized page which is there. So
Hmm.
this is Ashrita's personalized page which you see. It talks about the campaign and everything. And if you see, 31 donors are there who has contributed this money.
Hmm.
So this activity not only brings you donation, but it also spreads awareness for you. Number one. Number two, as a chain reaction, when these donors come onto you, these donors are your fundraisers, are your volunteers for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So when you get, say, for example, like I was talking about e-Vidya Loka. Okay, if there are 1,500 donors, and 300 are high giving ones, and say 50 people register, and if those 50 people bring in, say, another 20 or 25 donors, that is close to another 1,000 donors. So suddenly your database has gone up from 1,500 to 1,000, and next year when you do the campaign, your fundraisers go up, increase from 50 to 100. So this is
Hmm.
completely a personalized campaign which runs.
Yeah. And on these kind of platforms, a donor can donate repeatedly also. Like if he has paid once, he can come and pay again also.
Yeah, but that essentially needs sometimes an enterprise kind of a platform for repeat donations, monthly
Hmm.
giving.
Hmm.
So right now on the general platform, monthly giving is not configured,
Hmm.
but this is more so with one-time donation, and peer-to-peer crowdfunding works effectively with one-time donation.
Yeah.
But yes, if you're working with corporates, then yes, Cloudera also has a solution where you can have the monthly giving also enabled in it.
Yeah. I have two more small queries. I know you are not in a very good condition as far as health is concerned.
Yeah, but I'm fine now, perfectly
Very
fine,
good.
no problem, with
Great.
grace of God.
Great. So that is because of all these people who are attending, the energies, the positive energy that is coming through.
Correct.
Okay. So I have a query. Like my first query is, how do you convert a one-time donor to a recursive donor?
So
Like,
that's
is
a
there any
good.
formula for that?
Okay. So the thing is, personally in India, so see, globally it is very different.
Mhm.
In US, monthly giving works in a very big way. In India, monthly giving has not kicked off in a big way. That there are a couple of reasons we have worked with different organizations also. And what happens in monthly giving is that if people job changes, and we had a big hit during COVID. So
Hmm.
when people had the salary cuts and pay cuts, the first thing they did was they stopped the monthly giving which was there.
Hmm.
So I would not encourage people to go from one-time giving to monthly giving.
Hmm.
That is my personal experience. I would stick with one-time giving, and in fact look to increase one-time giving. A donor who starts with 5,000, and if you do active donor management, it can go up to even 50,000. And I know of donors who started with 5,000 and 10,000, and they've ended giving up 5 lakhs and 10 lakhs,
Hmm.
which is good. So I
And
wouldn't encourage monthly giving so much.
okay, okay, but there are people who are in the habit of giving, regularly to the same organizations. Maybe they are connected more with that kind of cause, or
Correct, correct. So there are two ways to look at it. One is monthly giving works more in a corporate setup.
hmm.
So what happens is that's what we call the payroll giving, which is there, where
Yeah.
people are giving on a payroll giving basis. That's number one.
Hmm.
Number two, yes, there are people who would give only to a particular kind of an organization, but that would become an annual gift.
Hmm.
So annual gift still works much more better with than monthly giving. That is what personally I have seen across organizations. I'm not saying that it's not possible in India,
Yeah.
but India as a market, it will take time to mature as far as monthly giving is concerned.
Yeah. I remember during my uh, college days, I used to donate to Cry, although that was a very small amount, but on a regular basis.
Yeah, so did I,
Ah,
and
correct.
my wife also worked with Cry, so she was with them for 10 years.
Ah, okay.
So
So, yeah. So my last query is, uh, before losing your heart as an NGO or non-profit uh, in a campaign or digital fundraising, what should be the threshold that now this approach is not working well, so I need to change that approach?
sorry, can you just reframe your question, or what is the essence of it?
Yeah,
What did you mean by
I
threshold?
was asking, suppose I am an NGO and I start with an approach for digital fundraising and it doesn't hit well. So when should I think that I need to change this approach and do something different to attract people?
Exactly. So that's what I said. If you see in the first slide itself,
Hmm.
that the conventional digital fundraising, which is Facebook and Google AdWords, is a costly
Yeah,
affair.
yeah.
It's a 30 to 40% cost which is there, and that also goes. So I'll tell you where it has worked. So when you have medical emergency, you have the impact gurus and others of the world, therefore they
Mm,
raise in medical emergency, and that's also the cost is high,
correct.
and people will be shocked. I don't want to demean any platform,
Mm,
but the fact is that there is a setting.
yeah.
Okay, and Apollo Hospital, for example, has taken a stake in Impact Guru. That's what I read.
Mm.
So आपका 20 लाख रुपए का ऑपरेशन है तो they would have already padded it up to by 30 lakhs,
Oh.
and they would spend 5 to 6 lakhs in the social media,
Mm,
and then 4 lakhs would go as a revenue share to Impact Guru and others.
mm,
And I heard of such stories. So a, the cost is very high, number one.
yeah.
Number two, also, it does not work, as I said, for non-medical, non-religious activity. So if
Yeah.
you go on to donate cart, and people want to give, say, for some sadhus and some cows, it works. But it does not work for a normal charity project. So for example, if Thana SPCA wants to do it,
Mm,
or the e-Vidya thing, which was there, which is to be done, it's not going to work. You put whatever campaign you want to put it on social media, it will not work.
yeah.
But the fact is, it will only work when you have your what you say,
Mm,
the peer-to-peer crowdfunding, the digital crowdfunding through your volunteers. So
mm,
here, what I'm talking about is pure volunteers.
yeah. Thanks. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Any other queries, questions? All right, judges. I think we are done.
Sure,
Thank
great.
you so
Thank you
much,
so much.
and would love to see you again, maybe with a different topic,
Sure.
or maybe extension of this topic.
Yeah, extension of this topic and to a larger audience. That
Advanced,
would be
yeah, maybe advanced, yeah.
sure.
And Aditi, hi, if you can hear me, would you like to unmute yourself and speak for 2 minutes, telling about what your organization does for NGOs? Aditi, can you hear me?
She said you need to make her the presenter again.
Yes, she is already presenter. I made every participant a presenter. That's unmute themselves and come on video. Aditi, would you like to come? Or maybe a separate session we can do again. We did a session with Aditi earlier. So, friends, Aditi has given a form in the chat. If you see, uh, so maybe you can go through that form and hello.
Yes, now I think I can speak. Am I audible?
Yes, very much, very
Okay,
clear.
great. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, thanks, Jagdish, for talking about the peer-to-peer fundraising and how Crowdera can help. So Crowdera, of course, Jaideep had also introduced initially. We are a tech company, and we also work with charities and provide them with technology plus service offerings for maximizing their existing network and amplifying their existing network to help them raise more funds. So that's what we do, and happy to chat further if required. I have also left a link in the chat box with the form. So if you're keen to get in touch with us and would like to learn more about us and explore potential partnerships, happy to connect. Just do fill in the form, so then yeah, we can touch base again.
Thank you, Aditi, and thank you, everybody. We are about to wind up. So, if anybody wants to say anything, please unmute, or else we call it off for the day. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for coming, joining, sparing your time, and I hope this session is fruitful for you guys. And if you have any queries later, you can please contact anybody of us, like Jagdish, me, or Aditi. Thanks.
Sure.
All right. Anybody else? Thank you so much. Okay.